It's the camera.
Oh, I think we're live.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday.
That's right.
We are super excited about hanging out with you guys tonight because tonight we are talking all things living in an RV. But we'll give everybody a couple minutes and we'll let everybody jump on and then we'll get started and hang out. So, Daniel, do you think in the meantime it's a really good idea for us to go ahead and crack open a bottle of wine?
I think so. And if you're just tuning in, this episode is brought to you by our very amazing friend over at
Danenberger Family Vineyards. So we got an amazing opportunity. If you got to see our video on dry camping, our very first boondocking experience was with a harvest host. And one of these is Danenberger Family Vineyards. And their owner, Susan, might be the most wonderful person on the planet. And so we got to meet her. We got to crush grapes with her and hang out. And she sent us an entire box of wine, including this. Oh, can you see this?
There we go. Zoom back out.
This amazing bottle of Cabernet Franc that we are going to start the evening with while we hang out with you guys. So, Daniel, I'll let you do the honors.
Yeah. And, you know, what we're talking about being about the local businesses. So if you're looking for some amazing gifts this year for Christmas, stop by their website. They have an e-commerce site and order some wine.
Heck yeah.
But even if it's not for Christmas, it's just awesome wine. We're so excited to get this case a few days ago, and we're so excited to drink it tonight. But we've had some really good wine over the years, and this is definitely one of the best wines we've ever had. It is so delicious.
Truth. And we wouldn't just tell you
Seriously.
that any local wine was good because we've had some really crappy local wines, but
True.
this is not one of them. It's
True.
delicious.
Yeah, we were in, was it Michigan or something like
Yeah.
that? We tried some local wine up there. I mean, we're not going to like promote any products we don't like. Legitimately, if it's not good, you'll never hear anything about it from us. I promise you that.
Truth. Very true. All right. How's it going?
It's going. Okay.
So to tell you the truth, just like if y'all saw our video where Daniel pours the beer, I usually open the bottles of wine. So I mean, that wasn't that bad.
That was
pretty good.
Terrible. Yeah, that was not smooth at all.
All right,
so
sir. You're such a ham.
That probably is the proper way to pour a glass of wine. I don't know.
So if you are just joining us, make sure you tell us what you're currently drinking. Since we've been talking all about Danenberger Family Vineyards, we would love to know that you're also having a glass with us.
Oh gosh, this is delicious.
Amazing. All right, so
one more thing.
Okay.
On a super positive note, we are at like 790 something subscribers. So we're probably gonna hit 800 while we're on the show. Subscribe if you haven't. And ring that little bell next to the subscribe button so that you can get our updates when something new posts, because that's what I've learned over the last few weeks. Ring that bell.
Daniel is really excited about the bell.
I ordered a bell for this one moment right here. That was it. Yeah, so done. Served its purpose.
Oh my goodness, craziness. All right, let's see. Welcome, Anya, and hi to, Love 7. Thanks for coming to hang out with us, guys. We're so pumped that y'all are here. Seriously, y'all give us some of the best RV tips. You have saved our lives a couple of times. So we're so pumped to hang out with you guys tonight.
Maybe we'll give them a little behind the scenes of what's going on right now.
So right now we are still in my dad's place. We are getting ready. We have like the greatest Christmas present ever, and we are picking up our brand new Airstream, which is finally ready on Christmas Eve.
Exciting.
Can you imagine a better Christmas present than an Airstream?
That's true. The probably downside to staying here for the last couple of weeks at her dad's house is that we've rediscovered Amazon all over again. So we have ordered so many things, and
all American made.
100% American made, but just like little tiny things for the RV that we just kind of didn't order on the road, but wish we could. So it was kind of cool to have it all shipped in.
Our house has kind of been like Christmas most days, simply because of the number of Amazon boxes that Daniel has ordered.
It's true. Yeah, one of us definitely has an Amazon problem, and that is me.
Okay, so the whole point of our live stream tonight is to answer you guys' questions about what it is like living full-time in an RV. Because Daniel and I never dreamed that at the beginning of 2020 that would be something we would even be saying, that we've lived full-time in an RV.
That's so true. We've got somebody chiming in from Marrakesh.
Welcome!
So exciting.
So some of the things that we were like way not expecting about living in an RV.
Yeah.
Daniel, what would you say was like the number one thing that you were most surprised about?
Most surprised about? Yeah, I know. None of these questions are queued up, so she's just like throwing them at me. I was mostly surprised about how easy everything was once we got to the campground. I guess I just never really knew what to expect once we actually got to the campground, but the facilities were pretty much always nice. I was worried about like uneven terrains, but a lot of the campgrounds had like relatively even terrain, which is really cool. Washing machines when we needed them, power hookups, never had any trouble with that, cross our fingers.
Oh, look, Benjamin has a question. Welcome, first of all, and thank you for following our adventures. It makes our hearts very full to hear that. So our new Airstream is the same model. Yeah. She is a 30-foot, and she has the queen bed in the back. But instead of a 2020, she's a 2021, and she has this gorgeous gray interior that looks so modern. We're so excited.
It's called Earl Grey.
Okay.
One of the things I just recently learned about the 2021 versus 2020 is that they used, I believe, a composite flooring material for the, subflooring part of it. That's about it. I don't think there's like too many changes between 2020 and 2021, but we'll certainly let you know next week.
So one of the videos that we're so excited about doing as soon as we get back into our new Airstream is a full walkthrough talking about the 2021 classic model, what the upgrades are. I've heard read something somewhere that apparently the hot water tank gets warmer faster in the 2021 model, which we are really excited about. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for that one.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so amazing. And we get to add, so the first one was really an Airstream unit that they lent us while ours was being built. So we couldn't really, even though it wasn't our home, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we can customize it.
Yeah, so now we get to customize when we're having some pretty cool modifications done to this one. We're not gonna give up the goods yet.
We're not doing anything crazy yet.
But there's some fun stuff coming for this new one, and we'll show you that stuff later. I don't want to give it away yet, but it's going to allow us to pick up or use some of the things that we picked up along the way. Like, for instance, where do we pick this up? This is probably one of my favorite things. Bless your heart, right? I mean, Lauren is from Nashville, so bless your heart means lots of things, but when we saw this, we're at a local shop. We just had to have it. We knew it was going on our new Airstream.
So that's going on the oven, which is a perfect segue into International Window Covering Expo. You ought to send us a comment, tell us your real name so we can call you that. But how hard is it to cook? So Daniel and I, I'm vegan. Daniel is vegetarian. So especially when traveling throughout the U.S., there are a lot of places where you can't just happenstance upon really good vegan food. Obviously there are tons of local restaurants. We our staples are going to a Mexican restaurant because I can eat veggie fajitas. But
or Italian for the
there's a lot of cheese in Italian.
That's true. Mexican, no.
But cooking in the RV is probably one of the things that surprised me the most on how easy it is. Because when we first started telling some of our close friends, one of our friends, Andy, she had done a full month in an RV traveling the U.S. over the summer. And one of the things that she told me is she was like, you're going to have to let me know how cooking is because it was so hot in our Airstream. So we ended up or I think they were in just a regular RV. They were we had to cook outside all the time. Yeah. But in our Airstream, our AC unit works so freaking well that we have not run into that problem of it being really hot.
It's got 2 units on it. So literally there are times when you just need 1 unit because it will drop the temperature and you will freeze.
So you definitely have to plan more when you're cooking in an RV because it's not as simple here at my dad's house, we're 5 minutes away from a Publix. And that is not going to be the case when you're in a campground that can be very remote. So you definitely want to plan accordingly, like when you're in civilization type areas, to shop and stock up. It definitely is easier when you're thinking about cooking, like, especially because I'm vegan and I cook a lot of, like, when we were living not in an RV, I would cook with lots and lots of fresh ingredients. I've had to figure out ways to, like, kind of change that up some and use some more canned goods, etc. And then, of course, use fresh veggies when we have the ability to do so.
Yeah, hit our local markets and things like that.
Yep. So it definitely is not nearly as hard as I thought it was. I even have my food processor and all of the things. So, like, I make legitimate, like, meals in the RV with really no problem.
The one thing we haven't figured out how to do in the Airstream is cut an onion. You might have seen one of our previous videos. It was a cry fest for both of us. Somebody said, like, put a metal spoon in your mouth. I mean,
I also heard you could throw it in the freezer for like 5 to 10 minutes, and apparently that's supposed to help make you not cry. But I think we just shouldn't have opened a red onion in a small space because that was horrible.
Love Seven, have you had that problem cutting onions in your Airstream? If you haven't, let us know. Maybe it's
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's bad. Okay, so let's see. Anya, she says, living in the Airstream, how do you accommodate guests? Can you? And how about entertainment, i.e. like a dinner party? So we have only had a couple of guests. Obviously, this is 2020 and everybody understands that we all have to be careful about who we're seeing and, you know, taking care, like avoiding risks or like choosing your risks appropriately. So we've only had a couple of guests, and those were people who were kind of already in our inner circle before we left. You guys probably saw our mountain man friend, William, who joined us when we did a hike in Tennessee. So he actually came and joined us. So the Airstream, the Classic, is really convenient because it has one really big, like,
sofa
kind of area
with 2 reclining seats. I've fallen asleep in the reclining seat by itself without even setting up a bed or anything like that. So you've got that no matter what. And then you've got, like, the full couch there. So I think it's relatively easy.
Well, and then not only that, but our table has a really cool little button, and it, like, levers the table down, and, like, you can put cushions on top of it, and that becomes a bed as well. We haven't used that yet, but I think you could probably easily sleep, like, 3 guests. I mean, you're not going to want to, like, do that for an extended period of time. And you definitely want to be somewhere with good weather because you're going to be spending more time outside.
That's right.
But overall, it was really easy when he came and hung out with us.
And as far as having dinner plans, I mean, really, you're probably going to do it outside anyways because it's probably most people's first time visiting you in the Airstream. And they're going to want to do, like, the whole, like, s'mores setup campfire thing, right? And there are pretty much always, like, picnic tables at the campground, stuff like that. So you can forget, for the most part, having dinner indoors. They're going to want to, like, cook over a fire and do s'mores and all that cool stuff.
That's a really good point. So Daniel and I have had a couple of dinner parties when we were in Tennessee. Some of our friends came over and we did, like, the outdoor dinner party thing, like what he's talking about. But when it's just me and Daniel, we always cook inside. We're apparently not very good campers. We're going to have to work on changing that when we get back on the road this time.
I think we were starting to adjust towards the end of it. Yeah, I think one of my favorite things was getting up in the morning and just going out on the patio, but I guess nature is your patio when you live in an Airstream, right? And just sitting at the picnic table with a coffee and just admiring the scenery, right? Because we've probably all had somewhat of a stressful year. It's nice to just sit at the picnic table and just take it all in. Yeah. It's those moments that matter and you appreciate more than ever, especially during a stressful year like this.
Oh my gosh, love Evan. He said, why didn't we turn on the fan? Because we didn't think of it. We never use that fan. This makes so much sense.
Honest to God, I don't know if we have ever used a fan. I don't know
why. That makes perfect sense. That's amazing. Thank you. We will do that next time if we run into that problem.
Honestly, we never used to heat until we made it to Susan's vineyard because we didn't know how to turn it on. And once we did, we fell in love with the heating system. So
we should probably read the 2021 manual. That should be like our evening reading when we get back into the Airstream next weekend.
I feel like we've tapped into 25% of this thing's potential.
Oh, totally.
But it's just like kind of learning along the way.
Well, speaking of potential, Ben asks if we're going to winter camp and what will we do differently if we do that?
Oh, man. Okay, so I am terrified of driving in any cold weather and snow. Legitimately,
like
we were up in
Airstream.
At Airstream, right? Like winter camping. When we were in Chicago, we heard it was going to drop into the 20s, and we knew there was potential for snow. We got the hell out of there as fast as possible. Well, we had like 3 more days at that campground, and I told Lauren, I'm like, we have to go now. Like literally, let's pack up. We're packing up this party, and we're hitting the road, and we're getting out of here right now.
Totally.
And legitimately, the next day it snowed, and granted, snow melts and all that stuff, but I'm not going to tow a 30-foot camper in snow because I'm way too new for that.
Well, and then not only that, but I mean, you guys are probably obviously aware that when you're in freezing cold temperatures, if you don't have the right setup, the heated
like heated hoses, right?
Like, there's tons of like add-ons that you can set up your Airstream so that you can do more winterized camping.
Yeah.
Since we are still learning how to use our furnace,
true.
we figure like that's a little over the top for us for right now. We definitely want to do that in the future, maybe next winter, because I've heard some people will take their Airstreams out and like you can just like jump out of your Airstream and go ski down a ski slope, and that sounds incredibly amazing. So maybe that's on our like next year plan. But for right now, we're just trying to still not suck at being first-time RVers. That's
so true. 100% true.
Oh, Christine has a good question. She asked if we get homesick.
What's that saying? Home is where the heart is. We've got that going for us always. Because we traveled before we even started this journey, it doesn't really matter where base or station is as long as we're together.
We have each other.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds, but it's true. We are each other's homes. So that being said, we do get a little like stir crazy when we're sitting still for too long.
That's true. Well, and I will say, so one of the things that not really just because, when we got stuck in Morocco with COVID, that was in March, and we had already been in Spain for almost 3 weeks when we had gone over to Morocco. Mm-hmm. So I saw my mom, who lives in Nashville, in January, and then when we got back home to the U.S. with our U.S. rescue flights, we weren't willing to get on a plane. We wanted to just, stay still, do our part to help whatever. And so we didn't fly for a long time. And so when we were back home this time in Tampa, we did decide to go see my mom because it had been almost a year. So like as soon as I saw her talk about homesick, oh my gosh, I was like a huge pile of tears. I'm so happy to see her. So there are obviously people that we love that we miss while we're on the road. But we get to connect with them via FaceTime, and I'm sure some of them are probably on here because we always text them and we're like, please come hang out with us so we're not lonely. So we get to connect with them in different ways, and we're looking forward when 2021 balances itself out a little bit for more of our friends and family to be able to come and actually visit and stay with us. Yeah,
you definitely miss family and friends. Mario, 100%. It is a 2021 Classic. It's a 30-foot. There's a 30 and a 33-foot, and it has the queen bed. So the 33-foot, I probably wouldn't have gone for because it has like the back portion of it is a big shower and bathroom, which is cool, right? But it's just a shower and bedroom. She would have definitely opted for it, but I would rather like have the bedroom in the back versus like the bathroom shower, so that when you wake up, you get to like admire the view in the morning, which we've done on many occasions.
That's very true.
We ended up opting for the 30-foot versus 33-foot. And there were also some limitations at certain national campgrounds with length. So we knew that 30 was going to be pretty much safe for us.
And that's how he talked me into it, because I really, really love the bathroom and the setup. And it's got like a incredible like projector TV, like it's so cool. But because of the fact that you can't pull in, or it's more difficult once you're past that 30-foot mark, that's the reason we decided to go with the 30-foot Classic.
That's so true. And Mario, the reason we didn't want to get stuck in the snow is for this simple fact: we have to hit 50 states in a year, and if we got stuck somewhere for like 1, 2, 3 weeks, it would be hell to catch up. Like we would go, hello, New York, goodbye, New York, hello, New Jersey, goodbye, New Jersey. Like it would be rough for us. So we're trying to pace at roughly a state a week. We know we've got a little bit of wiggle room there because obviously there are 52 weeks in a year and such. But that's the reason why we don't want to get kind of hunkered down anywhere, where there's a snowstorm. And there's apparently like some crazy storm right now in the Northeast. So super
Lots of
happy to not be
snow.
there right now.
Yeah.
It would definitely be snowed in.
Although it would probably make some really good YouTube videos to see us like stuck.
It would make for some good YouTube videos, but I think we've got a lot of fun, exciting things planned ahead that are going to make for some pretty interesting content.
Well,
for
and
sure.
that's a good segue into Anya's comment. She said, "What's on the Airstream bucket list look like for 2021? Top 5 cities."
My top 5 cities.
I don't know if it would necessarily be cities, because one of the things that we've learned over the last 3 months is how much there is to see in America outside of the cities. Like when we traveled the US before, we had seen a lot of the states, but it was like, we flew in from Tampa into Chicago, or we flew into Tampa to Dallas or to San Diego, and you pretty much just see that city or within like a 1 to 2 hour radius of it. But what we've loved about driving the country is you get to see how many beautiful places that are not within a 1 or 2 hour drive of the big major cities. So for me, if I had to say one thing, because I don't think I can come up with 5, I'm not that good at this. If I had to say one thing that I'm like bucket list excited about is I haven't been to the Grand Canyon since I was a kid. And so one of the things that you can do at the Grand Canyon is you can actually like do this long hike down to the Colorado River. And I used to run this hike on our treadmill. And so I'm really excited about training to be able to run that down to the Colorado River. And then you have to camp the night there, and then you come back up the next day. So we'll have to abandon the Airstream for one evening to do it, but it's going to be so cool. And that is like really high on my bucket list right now.
I would say for me, it's probably going to be somewhere in Oregon or Zion. We've been to Zion before. We've flown in before. Well, not flown. We drove in, but we only stayed there a couple of nights, and it was probably some of the darkest skies I've seen anywhere on the planet, which makes the stars just burst. I mean, it's like glitter in the sky, right? And it is just so amazing to see at night. I've always grown up in big cities, so seeing a sky that's just absolutely filled with stars is I hadn't seen anything like that in my entire life. So for me, I can't wait to go back and see that. And there were just so many amazing, cool hikes in Zion that I've looked forward to kind of like tackling next time we go back. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Real. If we could change one thing about our Airstream, it would literally be putting a like moon roof over the bed so you could see the stars, because that would be so freaking cool.
That's so true.
Hi, Manuela. It's good to hang out with you. And Texas Roadrunners, oh my gosh, you're right. Snow is crazy scary.
It'd be terrifying.
Let's see. Oh, thank you, Glenda. That really makes our heart happy. Let's see. Oh, Benjamin. Yep, he's him and his wife are having the same conversation.
so you guys had it reversed where you wanted the 33 and she wanted the 30. She's always going to win. That's how it goes. I just had to sell her on it for like 2 weeks, and I finally won, I guess, because of my sales skills or whatever.
No, it's just the national parks. I want to go to the national parks. If you do over the 30 feet, then it's hard to get into the national. Heck, it's hard to get into the national parks anyway. Just from an availability standpoint. But the 30.
But legitimately having that bed in the back, and I know like many of the others do as well, like the Flying Cloud and International stuff like that. But when you like wake up and pop the shades open, that is just awesome. Honestly, it makes it all worth it.
The 30 foot also has more windows than the 33 foot does for obvious reasons, because you have the bathroom in the back that's humongous and nobody wants to see you go to the bathroom. So that's another thing that we loved about the 30 foot. All the natural light being out in nature is wonderful.
Antelope Canyon, I have not heard of, but we are definitely going to check that out.
I've heard of it, but we haven't been there, and we would love to do that. Yeah,
and well, okay, I'm not going to try to say that. Well, I will say that. Havasupai Canyon in Falls, calcium carbonate pools. Okay, that is cool. We all see these like Instagram photos and videos of people like out west that are just like jumping in these pools in the middle of nowhere. All in on that. So if you know where those like cool remote places are, we can like boondock and just jump into like hot springs somewhere. Please, like, let us know.
And that's a good point. From a standpoint of 2021, like bucket list things, we have got to get better at boondocking. So that's one of our big goals to like we got so much amazing feedback on how to tweak our boondocking skills and improve our boondocking skills when we published that video a couple weeks ago. So we are definitely going to be doing more practicing on boondocking because we would love to spend more time in remote destinations. There is nothing like waking up in an amazing, random, like totally beautiful. Yeah. It's so freeing. So we want to do more of that for sure.
100%. Yeah. And we have 2 cat 1,000-watt inverter generators with like a parallel kit to kind of connect them. So I know it doesn't run like all the AC and stuff. So hopefully it's cool outside when we do that. Or at least I don't think it runs AC. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I don't know, but we're going to try. I mean, we're just learning as we go. One of the really cool things that I've been working on is, well, I'm obsessed. I'm OCD, right? So leveling is like one of those things. So I'm excited because I've ordered a couple of things lately. Like I've got these like Anderson leveler cool things here. And you apparently just like roll up on it until it's like level. Apparently, in theory, I don't know. We'll find out literally on video if it works or not. And then again, also American made, this LevelMate Pro, which is like, apparently it connects to an app and it tells you like how to balance it all. It's a toy. I mean, I'm all into the toys, and this is also American made.
This is why he's been so happy about getting to have Amazon back.
That's exactly. It's made in Hickory, North Carolina, USA. So that's super cool. Got some of these X Chalks here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go.
We've heard mixed reviews about the X Chalks, so if y'all have any insight into those, let us know. Daniel ordered them because he saw them at some of the other RV parks that we were at, people using them. But I read an article that they can do damage to your tires or whatever. So we don't know the answer to that yet. But
please tell us if you're like using X Chalks. Let me know. Like, is it the real deal, or is it like crap I'm gonna end up like getting rid of? I don't know. I mean, I always give it a try.
Texas Road Runners loves the Andersons. Whoop, whoop.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that was a good choice. I mean, yeah, I'm super excited about that. Finally, so you have to understand.
Glenda, he is 100% all about the gadgets. All about the gadgets.
So I've used some random gloves along the way. The problem I have is that I'm not able to use latex gloves, and a lot of the gloves are made of latex. So I had to order these. These are made of like nitrile or PVC. Yeah, so these are made of PVC. So I am going to be upgrading my gloves as well. Finally,
he has all of the upgrades. Please, did you bring Suey Pig?
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're at a campground. Where were we? We were in Cleveland, Tennessee, and I was walking around the park because that's what I do. I like to see like everybody's set up, and you learn a lot by just walking around the campgrounds and seeing what everybody else has. And just admiring it and asking questions. That's what I do.
And you also have to understand, if you haven't, we've got a video coming out next week that we're really excited about. It's our top 10 things that we wish we would have known before moving full time and doing Airstream. So and it's the first time Daniel's going to get to talk about how much he loves what he calls his poo-poo train.
Yeah. I mean,
so he has got this whole setup that he is so proud of for our gray water and black water tanks. And so this is an add-on that will improve his poo-poo tank setup.
Exactly. This is like the ultimate, and it is made in America. And I was walking around a campground, and I was like, what the heck is that? I need that in my life. I don't care if it's functional or not. It just looks awesome. Suey Pig. Suey Pig. There's a little Made in America tattooed right on its butt right here, but this is called Suey Pig. And it's supposed to hold like the pipe in the ground. Somebody told me that occasionally those like pipe things can pop out of the ground and it just like sprays everywhere. That was enough for me to spend like 10 or 20 bucks to like secure it. So
y'all see this guy?
If 10 or 20 bucks in this little like Suey Pig can like keep the pipe in the ground and prevent it from like popping out of the ground and just spraying everywhere, because that's what I imagine now because somebody told me that, then it is well worth it to get Suey Pig.
And I mean, it's cute. So that's the thing.
It's a conversation starter for sure.
Okay, let's see. Okay, Allison, how far in advance do you have to plan towns you want to stop in? Can you just wing it and randomly stop somewhere pretty easily? Or do you have to research campsites pretty far in advance? Not sure if my question is coming across. No, that actually comes across perfectly because that was one of the very first questions that I had. And that's actually something that we talk about in our video that's coming up next Sunday. So if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, you want to see that video, so make sure you go ahead and do that. But Allison, the answer is like a little more complicated than I would have thought. So yes, you can do it kind of by the seat of your pants because Daniel and I are, well, not only are Daniel and I more of like non-planners, do things on the fly, live in the moment kind of people, but 2020 has like made it a requirement that you do that. Because when we first started planning our 50-state trip, Daniel, being the research genius that he is, found this really cool, efficient plan across the United States where you hit like all of the neat like American landmarks and national parks. And it was like super crazy efficient. Well, we were going to do that. And then COVID was really hot in one spot. And, you know, the wildfires in California were coming through. And then we had cold fronts. And like, there was literally everything under the sun that made it impossible for us to go down that efficiency path. So we literally had to just say, okay, scratch it. We're just going to do it as we go. So for the most part, my goal is always to have us booked 1 week in advance, but that's about it. And it can be challenging. So obviously when we were in peak season and first got on our trip, it was more difficult because there were so many campers who were camping. So like when we went to the Smoky Mountains, it was a really popular destination. We were there when they had a half marathon. I had to call probably 20 campsites before I found one that was like we got really lucky. It ended up being like 5 minutes from where the race was. We do get lucky a lot, but it's a little bit of hard work and a little bit of luck. So there are definitely a lot of phone calls that you have to make, which is something I was shocked about. I figured in 2020, you could literally reserve everything and anything online. But that's definitely not the case. So you have to be willing to get on the phone, leave a lot of voicemails because they don't always pick up, especially for the smaller campgrounds. And they're typically where I find places for us to stay if it is in busy season. So it's totally possible. When it's lower season, like when it started to get cooler and we were in Chicago, I had absolutely no problem finding places. So you can do it on the fly. It's going to induce some stress. But another thing that we know now is that like sometimes when you call, they'll have like a block of days here and like they'll have one Saturday that isn't available, but then like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is. So some of the things that we've done is we would say, okay, well, we can take that first block and then we would find a boondocking or a harvest host that was close by, take advantage of that for one night and then come back or move on to another campsite. So as long as you have the ability to be flexible, like your travel plans are flexible and don't get your panties in a wad, you'd be fine.
That's so true. And Benjamin, on that note about getting all of the really cool stuff, here's one more thing, because now I've told you that I love all the sewer stuff. This one is the Rhino Extreme exoskeleton, right? The 20-footer. I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just for me, I like tackling the most challenging things. And when we started this thing, as everybody may or not know, the sewer pipe was like the most terrifying thing. So I decided that I was going to like go all in on learning everything about the tanks and stuff like that. So on that journey, yes, it's going to include like suey pigs and random things as I learn. But
oh no. Texas Roadrunners, please don't tell Daniel anything else that he needs to get. A composite toilet is not what he needs to be Googling.
I don't even know what that is, but well, I'm assuming that it doesn't have a tank maybe, and you just like fill it and then tank out. And, I don't know.
He's going to Google the crap out of that tonight. Thank you.
Composting toilet. I guess then you wouldn't have to worry about that. As long as I don't have to like carry the composting toilet out of the RV. Well, I guess at this point I'm handling everything else in my hands. So, and I've got some gloves now.
Okay, so let's see. We've also got a question. What apps do you use to plan campgrounds, local sites, and events? Oh, okay. Add Squamish. Is that how you say that? To your site list just outside of Seattle. Oh, we love Seattle. We're so excited about camping out there later or early next year. Okay, so what apps do we use to plan our campgrounds? So Harvest Host is not an app, but we do use that, especially when we're going to be doing like long hauls to get to the next place that we want to go. That one's awesome because it's boondocking and it's free. And that's actually how we met Danenberger Family Vineyards. That's so true. The wine that we're drinking this evening. So we definitely use Harvest Host. We've used HipCamp when the video that came out today of my very first marathon with no trading. We were actually, that camp spot is in some of the drone footage, and that's a HipCamp place. So it's kind of like the Airbnb for RV. And we loved that because we got to stay at a really local place that we wouldn't have found otherwise. That was beautiful. So that's a really cool one that we use.
Before we got the Leveler, I got this like Leveler app. So I basically just like, everybody has their own levelers. I just whip out my phone and I just like pop this on the RV and then I just like level it that way. And that's worked out pretty well. What else? We use AccuWeather to check the weather. We want to make sure that we're not going to get like stuck anywhere. Something called Wi-Fi Map. You can see like all the available Wi-Fi's in the area.
Yeah, that one's convenient.
What else?
I can't think of other ones that we've used. That's probably something that we need to improve our skill set on because I do end up calling a lot of campgrounds. Versus like using apps or finding other solutions.
That's so true.
Because what I'm doing when I'm calling them, I'm just literally going onto Google Maps and searching because we want to shop local. We want to be, as local as possible. So we're not typically using unless we just absolutely have no choice, like some of the larger campground chains. So that's the reason I've been doing so much Google searching. But that seems to work really well.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, when she says larger chains, she basically means KOA. They're kind of like the Marriott of campgrounds. They're usually very convenient to get to. You just kind of pull off the highway. There's a KOA. You want to pull through, you want to whatever, which is super helpful. We have learned, though, that there are a couple of KOAs that are privately owned. It's just impossible to figure out which ones they are. So we typically try to stick to the campgrounds we know are locally owned and owned by. We've stayed at multi-generation campgrounds, like the one we stayed in Tennessee, in Nashville. And that is just awesome. Like the grandfathers work in the register and the daughters like drive around the golf cart. And that is just awesome. That's what it's all about.
Oh, look. Yeah. Hi, Bruce. Welcome all of our vegan friends. If y'all have favorite recipes that you make in your Airstream or RV, pretty please send them our way. I love all of the recipes, but we're so excited that y'all are joining us.
Manuela, I'm going to take care of that right now because if you missed the very beginning of this, our friend Susan owns this winery.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to tell them about that.
There it is. Yep.
So in the video where we went and did our boondocking, we stayed at this Harvest Host. It is Danenberger Family Vineyards. Susan is their owner there. She's a stage 4 cancer thriver.
She's battling stage 4 cancer right now.
And she's amazing.
And she's an amazing human being. And we bonded very quickly. And we always talk about, supporting local businesses. And she's got a winery and we just included the link there. And if you can go there and support her, I promise you the wine is absolutely amazing.
It's really good. Yeah. And it has a lot of love put into it.
It has a lot of love. If you've watched her video, you can see how much love goes into her winemaking and it makes you feel good. Like she's very passionate about what she does and making the wine. And that's kind of what our journey is all about. I mean, we want to talk to as many local businesses and people as we can and just help to share their story and get it out there.
Because there are so many incredible people who are building amazing American businesses that deserve a little bit of highlight and extra recognition. So we can do that. It makes us very happy.
Yeah, it looks like the link might not have showed, but it's basically you just go to Danenberger Family Vineyards and it'll show up. Really good wine.
Oh, Texas Roadrunners. We do need to do a video about how we met because it's basically like the cutest story on the entire planet. So we'll give you the short version here. But basically I started a business or communications agency when I was in college. You had to have a college email address to be on Facebook. So problem with starting a business when you're in college is that all of your clients will forever see you as a college student. So they don't want to pay you more, even though you got a degree. So me and my puppy moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, and wanted to build our business down here where nobody knew how old I was. And one night, literally 3 nights after I moved to St. Pete, I was walking my dog and came down like a back staircase because it was like one of those apartments that has a fob for this and a scanning card for this. So I wasn't really comfortable with how to get in and out yet. And so I went down this back staircase, opened this door, and tripped over this dog. And come to find out, not only was the dog named Chance, but this handsome guy was his owner. So tripped over Chance, and I guess the next day you texted me and asked me if I wanted to go skydiving.
Our first date was skydiving. I knew instantly when I met her that she was the one I was going to marry. Instantly. I knew literally the second I met her, I went to my friend's apartment, and this is at like 2 a.m. because we all live in this apartment building. And I said, I just met my future wife.
He didn't tell me that. Thank God. I would have thought
I
it
didn't
was
want to scare her
insane.
away, but I said, she's 100% the one. And I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but I need to set the bar so high that no one could ever like pass it. It's going to be like, and I thought, what bar is higher than 14,000 feet? So I invited her to go skydiving on her first date. And I figured if she's crazy enough to say yes, then she's definitely a good fit. And she said yes.
That's true.
And I always tell people, you have to match your crazy. We're all probably a little bit crazy. You just have to find like the crazy that fits you. And that's what we did. And it's worked out. And here we are. 8 years later, our wedding video is actually on the channel. It's super cool. We got married in Jamaica, and you'll have to go check that out. But
we'll totally do a video on it. Although we're going to have to figure out what kind of video footage it would be, because that might be kind of boring. But
yeah,
that's our story. That's how we met.
That's so true.
Okay, so Bruce, you say you take your Instapot everywhere. So we brought our Instapot with us on this first 3-month journey.
We did.
And we didn't use it once. So
it took up so much space too. Like,
so it's on our list of things that we're not actually going to take with us on this next round. But I guess maybe we just aren't good at like knowing
I don't know
how
what it
to
is.
use it.
We use when we ate meat, we use Instapot a lot because there's nothing like knocking out like a slow roast in a handful of hours.
That's true.
All in on that. But since we've converted to mostly vegans, vegetarian stuff, it's just not doing it for us. I don't know.
We haven't figured out how to make it work.
So exactly. So if you have, Bruce, if you have ideas on how to use the Instapot for like vegan dishes, please send them to us because you might talk us into taking the damn Instapot again.
We might bring it back with us.
But if it's sitting in our Airstream 3 months from now, I'm gonna mail it to your house because it's getting out of our camera. I promise you, have 2 Instapots because I will just give it away.
Hi, Tina. I love you.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. That's how you find all the crazy. That is, again, so true.
Well, that's probably one of the things that we were most like thankful and grateful for with this whole experience, because in the video that we're publishing next Sunday, I talk a lot about how like we were really excited about moving into the Airstream, but there was also like a lot of anxiety because we literally never stayed in an RV in our entire lives before we just straight up moved into one. Speaking of crazies. So one of the things that we were like amazed by almost immediately, because we drove our RV we drove the Airstream from Tampa to Orlando to stay at Fort Wilderness.
That's right, Fort Wilderness.
And we got there, and Daniel and my hearts like dropped almost immediately, because when we got there, there were so many people. There were cars parked all up and down both sides of the road.
Let me defend myself
so
at least. I feel like I have to defend myself for sure, because if you've seen the first night at the campgrounds at Fort Wilderness, I'm just going to lay the framework here. It was Labor Day weekend. Okay, I'm defending myself here. There were so many vehicles, like visitors visiting people at the campgrounds, that I could barely fit my truck.
Yeah,
like
it was
through the
scary.
campground. The truck, not even the 30-foot trailer behind me. And then we finally got there. We booked last minute, right? So we had like one of the last available spots. To a newbie, it felt like I had to like pull a 90-degree back in to get into place. I know it wasn't 90, I get it, but it felt like 90 to me because I was new and terrified.
It probably would have still today felt like a 90.
Yeah, and there were like posts along the trail too, so
they were short and hard to see.
Yeah, so it was very. That's my defense.
Well,
I rest my case.
But the thing about it is that as soon as we got there, people were automatically like coming out of like their campers and
gosh.
coming over to help us. And we felt so dumb already. And they were like so kind and so helpful.
Yeah.
And if you've watched the video, you know that Daniel didn't even end up having to back it up himself because one of the campers literally got in the truck and did it for him.
Because I almost hit a tree. I mean,
but I mean, truthfully, the campers that we have met along this journey so far are some of the most nice, wonderful, amazing human beings like ever.
Okay.
And we love that about it.
Get instant with air frying top. I have no idea what that means, but that sounds
You have to look that up.
Yeah, I want more info on that for sure. Air frying seems to be a very popular thing right now.
I don't think it's right now. I think it's been popular for a while. We just haven't been doing it.
That's true. Kind of like the Instapot is very popular.
Yeah, real. Look, Love 7 says that Fort Wilders is not easy. Okay, thank you. See, it's not that bad.
The posts were like right now. Okay, anyways. One day we're going back there and I'm going to hopefully conquer it because
you can do it.
It beat me. And that's okay. Next time I'm going back, I'm going to own it.
I believe in you. You can do it.
I believe in it. Yeah, back.
All right. Well, it's right at 6:45. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. We love doing this in a day and age where we don't get to see very many people in real life. This is so much fun to get to hang out with you guys in the digital world and get to know you guys better. So thanks for coming and hanging out with us this Sunday evening. Again, like we talked about, Daniel put that link for Danenberger Family Vineyards. If you have people on your Christmas list who you still need a gift for and they love wine, we highly, highly suggest
Or if you just love wine, honestly.
Well, for yourself too is really good.
I mean, honestly, you might have a few glasses and might not want to share it. I mean, it's that good.
That's very true. Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful holiday season. And we are very much looking forward to hanging out with you guys again. We don't have our next live plan yet from a date perspective, but as soon as we do, we'll let you guys know. And let's see what.
First time with the camper, he ended up with a migraine. I feel you, Bunky's Workshop. I feel you.
You guys have an awesome holiday season. We love each and every one of you guys, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Have a good one.